Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. We are Mile High Beach. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Pleshette.
And Charlie here is wandering around down on the floor.
He's in the middle of eating.
It's
He
dinner
likes
time.
to carry food from one part of the rig to another part to eat it.
You know how they do. So if you haven't followed us before, welcome to our channel. We're so glad you're here. And we are full-time RVers, and we have been on the road for almost 2 years now. We will put a link to our intro video somewhere
up here.
somewhere, and you can see that and you can get to know us, and we would love for you to join us and follow us along on our adventures. There's a couple things that we talk about in our channel. We talk about big rig friendly campground reviews. We do good eat small spaces, so cooking in the small spaces of an RV, and then we do what's good ones?
Well, and then we do kind of just general stuff. Just,
General stuff, yeah.
Just things that kind of, that affect us.
Yeah.
Inspire us.
Yeah.
Just kind of just general things. So, but the two main playlists are, like you said, the good eats, small spaces, and campground reviews for big rigs.
Yes. Oh, and the other one we have is the conference rallies. And we just have one video there because we've only been to one rally. But check that one out. We went to the FMCA rally in March, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to weave in more rallies and events like that. So that playlist will grow.
Yes. So stay tuned.
Yes.
So today, this is for the Big Rig Friendly Campground Review, and I just have to tell you, we are a year behind.
We're still playing catch up.
We're playing big catch up, and today we're going to be talking about Longstreet Inn, Casino, and RV Resort, and this is out in the Amargosa Valley in Nevada. So this is the east side or eastmost side of Death Valley National Park, right?
Yes.
Yeah. There's even an entrance to Death Valley from the Nevada side, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was a very funny. So we had been on the road since November.
At the time.
At the time,
Right.
yeah, we'd been on the road since November of 2020, and this was April of 2021. So we hadn't even been on the road for 6 months. So take all of that into account. So the nearby attractions are Death Valley National Park and the Meadows Nature Preserve, and we really, really liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really. We actually found out about this location from our neighbors that we had in the KOA, the Joshua Tree KOA.
Yes.
Palm Springs KOA.
Yes.
So they told us about this, and they highly recommended the Meadows Nature Preserve.
And they highly recommended the Longstreet Inn, Casino, and RV Resort. Ron and Melinda, shout out to you. We loved being your neighbors at the Joshua Tree KOA. And we were there from 3/14 to 4/17. That was what the original booking was.
At the Longstreet.
At the Longstreet, yes. At the Longstreet Inn, Casino, and RV Resort. We had to leave a little early. We'll talk about that. So they did have full hookups. It was a gravel sort of sand.
Dirt.
Yeah. One of the things I have to say about this, though, that I really loved is it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And so when you're parked in your spot, depending on how you're facing, you just have a view of the prairie. We'll put some pictures up there. It was really quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was, well, we'll probably get to it, but it was really popular with the ATV.
Yes.
OHV crowd.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Access road issues. It was pretty straightforward. I mean, I don't remember what road we came off of, but it was like literally right off the highway and straight into the casino.
Yeah, I forget the freeway. I'll look that up, but it really is just a straight shot. There's not a lot of traffic. There's it's a nice road, and then when you actually turn into the facility, it's a huge space, huge paved lot where you can park and go register and all that. So access was not a problem at all.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. That's one of the things that I'm noticing about coming into an RV park. When you turn off the highway, you've been on the road for however many hours, you turn into the RV park, you want space when you pull in. You don't want to be like jammed in with like 5 other RVs and you got to try to navigate around people. You kind of want some space to pull in, and this really had a ton of space. Yeah. So the lot spacing, I would say it was West Coast standard, right? So these weren't massive lots, and they weren't really tight or anything like that. I think they were pretty reasonable.
I think they were quite reasonable.
Yeah. So the next area is Wi-Fi and cell service, and this is why we had to leave early. We had so we have a Pep Wave, and we had a cellular router. Yes, a Pep Wave cellular router, and we have an AT&T card. We had a visible card in there, and we both have work Verizon hotspots. So we have some redundancy. However, the wind out there was not a game. I don't know what, we didn't have our weather station at the time.
No, we didn't.
So we didn't really have a way to know how bad the wind was, but I will tell you that on one occasion we had to close the slides, and both of us were working back in the toy hauler park. All of us were back there. All Pleshette, me, and the dog.
Yeah, I had to move my desk because I work kind of in the kitchen living room area, and I set up back in the back with Alicia.
Yeah,
we closed the slides because it was really that windy. We were just so concerned. We just thought best to close up.
Yeah, and since then, we've learned that being in the high desert and the low desert during the springtime can mean wind, but we've never seen wind like that since. Yeah. It was insane. And so because of the wind, it created cell signal issues. We couldn't connect. We were so far away from the towers, we just could not connect. So we're like, we need to leave.
Yeah, the wind, the weather, the wind, whatever, it just seemed that it was affecting our signal strength.
Yes.
And so, thankfully, the campground, or the RVers had Wi-Fi.
Yeah, they did, and actually,
it worked fine, which is what saved our
cookies on a couple of days before we pulled out of there. And I will tell you, that's what's so funny about this, right? When you're out here in the RV community as full-timers, everybody will say, oh, the campground Wi-Fi blows, don't try to use it. But in this case, we would have been in trouble if that campground Wi-Fi, if we didn't have anything other than the campground Wi-Fi. So it actually worked quite well.
Yeah.
Not enough for us to stay, but at least for us to limp along.
And that's the other thing. The weather made it unpleasant, really, to kind of just be outside. That kind of wind on such a consistent basis, it just made for a somewhat unpleasant situation, especially because we're not into ATVs. I mean, I don't think OHVs and ATVs and those folks, I don't know that the wind affects them as much. You get in your vehicle and off you go, but if you're trying to be outside walking, and cause didn't we try to go to, I don't know, but we try, if you're trying to be outside and walking around,
hiking or whatever, no bueno.
It just makes it that much more difficult.
Yeah, it's pretty painful.
Sand blowing in your face. So, anyway.
And plus, I mean, let's face it, we had just sold our house, and this was all sort of new for us, so it was too shocking. It was too shocking. And like I said, we've seen wind, and it's been significant, but not the kind of wind where we need to pull in the slides and and leave the campground. So, but yeah, that was really significant. So the next area is laundry facilities and showers. So this was right next to a casino, and the casino had a hotel. And so I imagine that they had laundry facilities and all of that, but we didn't, we weren't there long enough to check into that, so we don't really have a view about that. They did have other amenities, though, that we noticed right when we pulled in. They had a gas station right on the facility. They had propane for sale right on the facility. The casino, as I mentioned, the restaurant, and as Pleshette mentioned, it was perfect for OHV, ATV, dirt bikes. Anybody that's doing that kind of stuff, you are loving it out there.
Yeah, because the access to the trails was literally right there from the RV park. You literally just drove right across like a driveway, and you were on trails that you could spend hours exploring on your ATVs.
Yeah.
So
one of my favorite pictures I took off of our side patio was just right at happy hour. It's happy hour now too, by the way. But just at happy hour, right there on the prairie. One of my favorite photos. Oh, God bless you, doggie. Goodness. Speaking of that, pet friendly is our next area. And this was pet friendly. There was no specific dog areas like a dog park, or didn't have like, dog bags and that. Or did they?
I don't think so. I don't think they did.
But it was pet friendly.
But it was a pet friendly
Yeah.
place. I mean, you
Yeah.
certainly can have your pets there.
Yeah.
I would say the only challenge with the dog friendly part was people let their dogs off leash.
Oh, just let them off leash and let them run out into the prairie and go do their business.
You
And
know,
we're like,
that was a little, I mean, some of these folks have, they have big dogs. You don't know how well behaved they are.
right.
So that was the only challenge, because really, literally right in front of us was the open field, basically,
Yeah.
and a small pond that you could walk around, which was actually quite nice.
Yeah.
But people just let their dogs off leash, and anyway,
We're not down with that. We're
Yeah.
not trying to have a vet bill.
no.
Yeah, and we'll put some pictures of this. I think when it wasn't windy, it was actually quite interesting to be out there. Good management. I would say that the booking was easy. They did provide an email confirmation, which I always appreciate. There are still campgrounds that don't do email confirmations, and whatever. That's how you run your business. It's just, I know for me, I'm like, did I forget it? Or, because we booked several months out in advance, and I just like to know that I've kind of checked that off and I've already done it. So anyway, they did that. And when we had to leave, because we literally had to get out of there, like, I don't know, maybe a week or two.
No, I think we were at least 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks ahead of what we had planned to stay.
Yeah. And they gave us our money back. I mean, they gave us
No
the
questions
pro rate,
asked
no
either.
questions asked, no, because they know that wind out there is baseballs.
So it was almost as if she was waiting for us to come to the counter and ask for our money back.
They won't last long.
Yeah, it probably was. She was like, oh wow, look at those two. So yeah, that was really nice. It was very generous.
It was great
that they gave us
Yeah.
a full refund of the time that we
Yeah.
were going to be there.
Yeah. There was a little bit of a weird thing when we were trying to park, because when we first pulled in, I called to the office and I said, hey, we're here. And they're like, oh, just go pick any spot that you want to. So we went ahead and we pulled into that spot. And then the spot, there was something about it, like it wasn't long enough or something. So I called them back and I said, hey, we're pulled into this spot. And they're like, oh, we need to move in a different one. Someone's going to be in that spot. And I'm like, well, that's weird. You told me to pull anywhere I wanted to. So just a little bit of confusion at the front office. But generally speaking, we were super happy about how generous they were with the refunds. Grocery store and nearby Instacart or that kind of service in this area. That would be a negative. There was no Instacart because, you're literally out on the prairie. There were no grocery stores around there. There was probably little markets that were more like, like liquor store type market sizes. We had to go into Pahrump for groceries, and we went into Walmart, and that was like 40 minutes away.
And it was a good drive. So
Yeah.
there was one, and I know you said kind of a small mini mart kind of thing. We did go, I think, to one.
Yeah.
Even the casino has a few things.
They did. They actually had a decent amount of staples.
They have some things, but
Yeah.
if you want regular kind of grocery shopping, it's Pahrump is your closest location, and it's about 45 minutes away.
Yeah. So the next area is nearby Camping Road, Ace, Hardware, Harbor Freight, True Value. That would be a no. Unless you were going into Pahrump, and I think there was a hardware store. There was definitely a Walmart there, and it was a Walmart Superstore. It looks like there was a Home... I guess it was a Home
There
Depot.
was a Home Depot.
I don't think there was.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Mail service. Well, we weren't there long enough to get into the mail service. And, all of this was still sort of new for us at the time, but we did not use the mail service. Special moments. So we have a few special moments here. The first one says wind mites.
Oh boy, the mites.
There was some crazy thing going on in that wind. We went out one night because it had gotten so windy, and we were trying to pull up all of the stuff that was out there, and I think we were trying to walk the dog too.
Yeah. When we take Charlie out for a walk, there would be, we were like walking through this wind. And I can't remember how we ended up kind of discovering.
But we're like, does your head itch? I don't know what was flying around in that wind, but we both got attacked by it. It was pretty crazy. When you think about special moments, it's just something that's memorable, right? And so that was super memorable. We both were like,
because we were both kind of surprised by this fact that both of us had kind of these itchy scalps, and we were trying to figure out what was going on. And I think it was
something in
the
the
wind.
Yeah. Ash Meadows. So the Ash Meadows Nature Preserve was absolutely lovely. We'll share some photos of that. And it was across the street, down the road a little bit, and it was very peaceful out there. There was waterways out there. This was COVID time, so the visitor center wasn't open, but it's beautiful to go there during sunset or in the evening because it's quite lovely. Anything else you want to say about the Ash Meadows?
No, it's just there's dirt road access, so I think there's is it 3 entrances, two or three entrance points.
3?
Well, maybe it was 2 entrance points.
Yeah, there's one from the Pahrump side, and I don't know where that is, but the side that's by the casino is what we went in, and that's a shorter route in.
Yeah, but they are dirt roads, so
and they are rutted dirt roads.
So they are pretty bumpy, and you just have to be prepared for that.
And if you're like me, you'll get hives from all of that, which is crazy, right? So you've ever been on a rutted road, it just really jiggles the car and it moves the car a lot. And I was having this crazy hive reaction because I'm allergic to everything. So clearly I'm allergic to dirt rutted roads too. Oh, the adventure continues. All right. Let's see. So view from our rig on the prairie. That was nice. And I'll post that photo. And then we pulled the slides in on that crazy windy day. That was another special moment there. Anything else you can think of?
No, I think that was about it because we really weren't there very long.
Yeah, we had to peel out of there. And actually, the next campground review that we'll do is where we went after this particular incident where we had to peel out of here. So stay tuned for that. That was the Samstown KOA in Las Vegas. So top 3, bottom 3, what would you say? So I've got a few things here.
Well, I'd say top 3 was the proximity to Death Valley. Even though we didn't get to take advantage of that, it is actually, I think, a good kind of launching point if you want to spend time in Death Valley. Yeah. So I think that would definitely be one. I think another, as we just were talking about, is Ash Meadows. We didn't know anything about Ash Meadows before our neighbors, Ron and Belinda mentioned that. Mm-hmm. And so that was actually quite beautiful kind of surprise and treat. Yeah. And then I don't know. I guess the ease of access, to the casino and some of the services there. I mean, because you are so remote, it was nice that they had available fuel. They had diesel that you could fill up. That was great. They had propane. Yeah. They did have. Where was the casino? I mean, this casino's nothing to write home. But if you're looking for a little entertainment, they did have that. And the restaurant. Actually, the restaurant in the casino was usually pretty good. Yeah. I think it was pretty good. Well, I think we ate. Did we eat there once or twice? I think we ate there once. Yeah. I thought my meal was okay. Hey, listen, there was no other services around. So, you know what? If you're looking for services, it filled the bill. Right. Yeah. So I think those would be the top 3. Yeah, yeah. I really appreciated that the casino had a pretty robust market. It wasn't just like eggs, butter, and milk. They actually had a pretty robust selection of some other things because there literally was no store around. So that was pretty nice. Bottom 3, what would you say? Oh, the wind. Yeah, that wind was crazy. That wind was crazy. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. It was crazy. And we've been in windy places since. Yes. But nothing, I don't think that tops that. No. It's so funny too because we'll be in a windy area and people would be like whining about it and we're like, it's all a matter of perspective. And our perspective was Longstreet and Longstreet was windy AF and we're like, this is not Longstreet. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. The wind was crazy. Yeah. And then it was pretty remote too. Yeah, it was remote. I mean, just too far from the towers. We're still working, right? Yeah, since we still work, it's important for us to be able to have good internet. Yeah. And again, I don't know if it was the wind or the combination of wind and just distance, but it was challenging for us to work there. But again, the campground, the casino Wi-Fi really did help. Yeah. Yeah. And then I don't know, was that 3? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah. And so if we were giving this a thumbs up or a thumbs down, this is about whether it's big rig friendly. To that, we would say yes. It is big rig friendly. It is absolutely big rig friendly. And if you're a person that has a toy hauler with an actual toy in the back, and you're looking to do ATV, OHV, and dirt bikes, all that kind of stuff, this is perfect. Your place. Is it a thumbs up for us? No. Probably not for us. Not for us. Yeah. and the caveat to that even, to me, I think the challenge we had was planning to be there as long as we were planning to be there. If you're planning to be there for a night or two, it's an overnight stop to somewhere else. Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know if the weather changes. If it maybe, because the problem is because you are Death Valley, you're not going to be there in the summertime.
No.
So
Too hot.
Spring and fall and winter are your winter. It seems that spring is very windy, so now you're really left with fall and winter, which it could work.
Well, you know what's funny about that? So when I went up to the front desk and I was like, we're not going to be able to stay. I said, is it windy like this all the time? Because I thought, well, maybe it was just spring, because what we've noticed since then is other parts of the high desert, low desert, it's really windy in the springtime, because we've been in southern Utah, other places. The woman at the front desk is like, it's windy like this all the time, and it can get up to 70-mile-an-hour gusts. So we're like, okay, so on that note, we're done here.
So for us, it's not someplace, again, we would recommend for any kind of long-term stay.
No.
We probably, we wouldn't go back there unless it's just for like a night.
Yeah.
But again, if you're big rig, you have those toys in your toy hauler,
you can be about it.
You can.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think it was that expensive, right?
No, that was one of the top 3 things I was going to say, is that it was really inexpensive.
Yeah.
I think for a whole month, it was like $400 or maybe even less than $400. So it was a really great price. And then with all the amenities there, if you can find a spot in there where it's not crazy maddening wind, but it just sounds like that's a regular thing out there. Yeah. So that's it for Longstreet Inn, Casino, and RV Resort. That is our review of that. If it's something you want to do, or if you've been there before, we would love to know what your experience has been.
Did you get blown to bits?
Did you get wind bites in your hair?
Let us know.
Is that a thing?
Let us know another place where you kind of got some sort of strange thing, like wind bites or
weird bugs,
or you
in
had to
your
pull the
rig.
slides in or something strange. So let us know about it.
Tell us your story.
Tell us your story. We'd love to hear it.
We'd love to hear it. And it really helps us when you provide feedback of any kind, whether it's a thumbs up or even if it's a thumbs down. If it's a thumbs down, hit that sucker twice. And give us comments, because that really helps our channel. We're trying to grow as our little channel, and we really appreciate all the feedback that you're willing to give us. So thank you for hanging out with us, and we will see you next time.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow.